Every teenager should watch these interrogations.
So, you guys plan to murder an innocent kid?
An innocent kid? No, he's not innocent. No, that kid's been talking about shooting us, and he's been...
Nobody told her that. Nobody told her.
I'll tell her when she gets back.
Yeah, somebody needs to tell that detective we had a right to kill Seth. I mean, he threatened to kill my mom and dad, burn my house down. And that's children shit talking. Rick knows how to shit talk like a child. I'm gonna call the FBI on you. My brother's the FBI. I'm the FBI. You're gonna be arrested. I mean, children shit talking, it doesn't affect adults. But here are these little shits. He said he was gonna shoot my dad and burn my house down. We had a right to kill him. Somebody better tell that detective.
Nobody told her.
I'll tell her when she gets back. You should have seen his grandma was crying when I told her.
Told her what?
I told her grandma when I got off work yesterday. I told his grandma. I told his dad, then his grandma. She just...
Now we know people didn't care for Kyle or Amber throughout their life, so they don't understand when you tell someone that a child killed another child, why a grandmother would be crying. It surprises Kyle. Kyle's sitting there thinking like, but he called me bad names and said he was gonna beat me up, and he was sleeping with every 15-year-old girl in the neighborhood. He wasn't leaving none for the rest of us. This is a picture of James, who Kyle and Amber's mother was with. He's slow, he's dense. I don't care about YouTube's algorithm. He's a fucking retard. He's a slow ass bastard. Why would the mother be with this loser piece of shit? There's a clip where the news is interviewing James, the stepfather, and they ask him questions about it. He says, I'm afraid I've lost my life now. I'm afraid to say anything. My life's over. And they said, well, what about the 15-year-old Seth? Well, he lost his life too. Brilliant. James did go to court. He didn't end up with any jail time. I don't believe. I think he just received all probation. And here again, this dumbass James is out roaming around that was complicit with these children committing a murder against a 15-year-old kid.
Should have learned from the first
You know he didn't
time.
have a warrant out for his arrest?
Who told you that?
Hmm?
He told you that?
Dave.
Okay.
Dave told me,
He
the
looked it
detective
up?
told me they all looked it up. He didn't have a warrant out for his arrest. He didn't have nothing. He had nothing to hide. He wasn't going to jail. He had nothing. He was lying about it the whole time, and he knew it. Yep.
Well, it's true the fact that they call that
It's true. It's true.
dead,
And that
but it's
is
also a lie that,
And he knew he didn't have a warrant out for his arrest.
Stop talking about it.
That's awful demanding and controlling of Amber. She said stop talking about it, and they did. That's why I think she was in control of the whole situation. And this whole warrant thing with Mike was confusing at first because he claimed he had a warrant out for statutory rape because he got caught having sex with a 15-year-old. Here again, this neighborhood is full of 15-year-olds everybody's banging for some reason. But that was a lie. That was just something to boost his persona. I'm a gangster. You're bragging about sleeping with 15-year-olds? I bet you don't say nothing about that in jail. Yeah, Mike Bargo's built like a little girl. He's 5'4", 150 pounds. I could literally bench press him over my head. I could just pick him up and carry him wherever I wanted to take him. Little man, little Napoleon. He had little man complex. That's why he had to have the gun. If anybody said a bad word to him, I'm sure he pulled it out and showed it to him.
And like he wouldn't go and he wouldn't talk to his mom or dad or nothing, because I think he was trying to confess to his dad the night it happened, because he come up to the house, and I think he was trying to confess to him, but his dad got mad because he did the teardrops on his eyes, because he don't like all the tattoos, he don't like all that, right? Because he's like, I never raised my son to do this. I raised him.
How long did he have those?
He the day before he did it.
Doesn't sound like the dad raised Mike to do much of anything. He's a fucking 18-year-old felon. His father said he didn't like the tattoos. I don't care how old Mike was. If I don't like something, it's going to be known, and it's just the way it's going to be. If I don't want you to have a tattoo gun, you won't. I didn't raise my son that way. The grandmother took the gun from him. He would have never got that gun back. I'm telling you, you got to lay down the law with these kids. You got to show them who's boss. What's wrong with society? I didn't raise my son like that. Bitch, you just can't say words. You didn't raise your son. An 18-year-old felon? What a failure. Sleeping with a 14-year-old girl? Carrying guns around the neighborhood? For protection? I've never owned a gun in my life. I'm not beta. I'll stand up for myself. I'm not afraid.
Because he's like, I never raised my son to do this. I raised him.
How long did he have those?
Honestly, he didn't really want to know he knew, but overall what he knew was Mike was going to shoot him.
So, your mother's current husband knew that Mike was going to shoot him?
Mike was going to shoot him.
Okay.
And, well,
But he just didn't get into the intricate part of planning. He just knew it was going to happen.
When you're in a gang, you're supposed to be protecting each other. But the first thing that happened, every one of them started telling on themselves. Mike tried to tell his father. Mike tried to tell Amber's mother. I mean, this hardcore gangster killed somebody, and now he wants to tell everyone.
Yeah, his older brother.
Justin's older brother.
Yes, ma'am. Something like that.
So the guy was mad that he didn't register the gun in his name and it's still in his. And Mike said, well, what do you expect me to do? I'm a felon. That's what he told me.
Yeah.
And I said, well, what are you doing with the gun anyway? And he's like, well, nothing. He's like, I just, whatever. And I'm like, Mike, really,
Well, he kept on telling me the only reason why he actually had the gun was self-protection. And which I asked him, I said, if you don't have no problems, why do you need the gun?
Do you know when he got the gun?
I really don't know. I remember the first time about 2 months ago, he showed me it. We were walking up to the store. He had it in his gym shorts.
Does he usually carry it?
Yeah, all the time. He always has it. And then, but for a while before he moved out the house, he ran away. His grandma had the gun, and then he took it back, or whatever.
I don't know what's wrong with these kids, but Mike was actually talking to the stepfather about killing Kyle and Amber's actual father. The stepfather. He was talking to the stepfather about killing their dad. Shocking. Amber had private conversations with him about killing her father. She always said no. And luckily Kyle said no too, because if they hadn't, Mike probably would have went and shot their damn father.
What happened?
Because we were out there when we were throwing everything into the fire and everything. We were talking about it or whatever, and then that's when it comes the conversation about, because James really hates my dad. My dad beat the hell out of him a long time ago when they split up the first time, and I guess James has lost everything, and I guess he was like, I don't care no more or whatever. And then Mike was talking about killing my dad. Okay. And,
was James there while you guys were feeding the fire stuff?
Yeah. He was there at that point. He was there then. But he decided to leave about, I don't really know the whole time.
So he left just after Seth was shot?
No, he wasn't even there.
Okay, so
he left way before that, like when we first
started building a fire.
Yeah, he left.
But he and Mike, he knew, because Mike told him you guys were going to kill Seth. And then they had a discussion about killing your dad.
Yeah, but James was like, man, I've lost everything. He's like, I don't care no more about him. He's like, your mom and your dad has sold everything in the house that was mine. I don't give a fuck if he's dead or not. I don't care. What do I have to lose?
Is your mother back with your father now?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So that's what I'm not understanding. Your mother is now back with your father, and James is out.
Yeah, he's been out for like a year now straight. Okay. So now James is like obsessed with my mom.
Okay.
Truly. And they were talking about it, whatever. And Mike was like, listen, I can kill your dad. I was like, what? He's like, if it's up to you, because I know you and him has been having a fallout. And I said, no. I know me and him has been having a fallout, but I don't want nothing. I was like, no, don't do it. I was like, no, you don't need to.
Why not?
Why?
Yeah, why not? You guys are now getting along. James is your friend.
Because it's my dad. I still love him.
Okay.
That's why.
Okay.
And James, he's...
The world is lucky these crazy little shits went to prison so early. There's no telling what kind of damage they could have done out here roaming around. They would have been like their stepfather, James the retard, sitting around with kids talking about murder. Like, well, we're gonna murder this one kid. Hey, you're mad at your dad? You want me to kill him for you? For them to be so open and casual about talking about killing people, they sure do cry a lot in the interrogation room. Like, all of us are like, good, I hope you cry. I hope you hate small rooms. I'm glad you feel sorry for yourself. Nobody cares about you. Everybody's glad you're in prison. People are mad Charlie Ely got out. Jose Baez, Casey Anthony's attorney, that got her off, got Charlie Ely out of jail. That 18-year-old girl was complicit with killing a 15-year-old child. And she's out of jail. Jose Baez has a karma wave coming for him where he's going to be reincarnated as a slug and killed over and over for centuries by children in salt.
Corey.
Okay. So he has talked before about killing people.
Like, I don't know if he's ever joked about it or if he was dead serious about it, but
He has talked. From what I understand, he has talked through his plan. If he killed somebody, these are the things that he would do. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. So, what did you think on Sunday night when he's sitting there making up this plan to kill Seth at first? What did you think?
I don't really know what I was thinking.
Okay. So, and then I just want to make sure I'm going to make sure because I don't want to misunderstand something,
Yes,
okay? On Sunday night, you, Michael Vargas, your brother Kyle, Charlie, Brandon, and yourself, and then James shows up, your stepdad. All 7 of you are at the house, at Charlie's house. Michael's playing Brandon's playing the guitar, something like that. Was your stepfather there when Michael Vargas started talking about the plan that you guys were getting together to kill Seth?
Yes, ma'am.
He was there. What did he say about it?
He didn't say anything. He's like, I need to go home.
Okay. Did you know that Michael Vargas had offered to kill your father? Had offered to James to kill your biological father for James?
Mm-hmm.
You didn't.
Like, all he...
Michael Vargas had offered to kill your father. Had offered to James to kill your biological father for James.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't.
Like, all he really, like, I don't know, like, exactly what he said, but it was somewhere along the lines of, if you ever needed me to, I would. And he looked at me, would you be mad if I did? And I was like, that's my father. Don't say that to me. We might not get along, but he's still my dad.
Okay. All right, so by the time you guys get this plan together where you and Charlie are supposed to call Seth and lure him to the house, is James gone then?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. When you and Charlie decided you were going to go get Seth or you were going to bring Seth to the house, did you call him on your cell phone and then go meet him? You didn't come back to the house with him right then, though, did you?
What do you mean? Like,
When you called him and said, "Hey Seth, I want to make up with you," when the part of the plan was that you to kill him, that you and Charlie needed to lure Seth to the house, did you call him on your cell phone? Did you call Seth? Then tell me exactly what happened. You guys, did you go up to his neighborhood up to 140th? Yeah, you did?
Me and Charlie walked up there.
Okay, then what happened?
We stood at the, like, there's a road that comes off 140 to come from Charlie's house, the first road to the neighborhood. We stood in the road, we were on it, we were about a stop sign. We stood there waiting for him like 10 minutes, and then he finally got there. And then we talked for like a minute, and then we started walking
Okay. And where did you guys walk?
to Charlie's.
Oh, okay, so there was no time when you went there and you came back to the house without Seth and Michael had a fit. I'm just asking because
Like, that just confused me, sorry.
I agree, it is confusing. You hear multiple interrogations of people telling lies, telling the truth, and the original story was, and I guess there was so much planning involved that we don't hear about from them, but obviously they planned it. The original story was they went up to meet Seth and talk to him. His mom texted him and said, "Come home," so he left. And then he come back later on his own. Well, that's not what happened. That's not the facts. When they went up to talk to Seth at the corner, he come home with them at that time, which makes them even more complicit. And you hear Amber say that the stepfather is there with them, and when he hears about them shooting somebody, he's like, "I gotta go." I mean, why didn't he take Amber and Kyle with him? He left them there. When he said, "I gotta go, I don't want to be around y'all talking about this," if he would have took Amber and Kyle with him, there would been no murder. That adult could have stopped it right then.
And around that time is whenever I told him to call me.
So you texted him to tell you to call you?
Yeah.
Okay. Then he called you.
Yeah.
And you said what?
I was like, "Do you mind if we meet up and talk?" And he was like, "No, not really." Why though? And I was like, "Just to talk and be friends or something." He was like, "Yeah, I guess, but can you walk up here and meet me?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Because he was at Brittany's house? Okay. So then he ends up leaving Brittany's and coming right back to the house with you? You and Charlie? Okay. So he gets to the house. You bring him into the house. He's there maybe 5 minutes. The door flings open and out come Kyle and Mike Bargo. And Soto's in the living room also. So they end up hitting him over the head or hitting him with a board. There's some gunshots. He goes to run out. He gets outside. He gets down the steps with Soto holding on to him. Right? Am I right so far? Soto falls. At that point, you run into the bathroom with Charlie.
There's two different bathrooms. It's the bathroom in the hall by
Right.
Mike's room.
That's what I call a common bathroom.
And then
And there's the
one
master bath
in Charlie's room.
inside her room.
Yeah.
Okay. And you went into that bathroom.
Yeah.
So you hear some more gunshots. You know that they brought him back in the house.
As far as I know, yes.
Okay, because you told me you heard Michael Bargo saying something to him. What did you hear Michael say?
"You deserve this." You just going on yelling at him. I couldn't really make anything out that he was saying because I was.
Well, was it you that was telling me that he took condoms out
Yeah,
of?
he did take condoms out of his pocket.
And how do you know that?
Because he was yelling, "You had effing condoms to F my girl."
Okay. Do you know what else he took out of his pockets?
And that's how it ends. They all go to trial, and they all basically get life. Mike Bargo got the death sentence. Recently went to trial on appeal, death sentence upheld. And I'm going to go ahead and let you know, Florida is going to fry his ass. They fried Ted Bundy. Florida will not fuck around. He's dead. I think this story should be shared to all teenagers. They all should see the reality of what it is, because we all were young once. We all hung out with our little friends, talking shit about beating people up and doing this and that. Y'all got that friend that can make a body disappear. You got that friend from St. Louis that was in a gang. Everybody's tough. They should know the reality, okay? It's fun to sit around listening to music, talking shit, but if you got a friend seriously talking about killing people and he's got a gun, you might better report that, okay? Because they're all gonna tell on you. And this is so ingrained in me, even when I have a dream. In my dreams, if I kill somebody and somebody's with me, even if they're related to me, I think in my mind, now I gotta fucking kill them. Because people will not keep their mouth shut. If you don't have the balls to commit crime on your own, don't do it. And don't be that person that will back up a shit talker to go commit some crime, especially as heinous as a murder. Nobody under the age of 18 deserves to be murdered, period. Come the fuck on. They're children.